Welcome to the 1 hour training recap for all of our kvCore basic training brought to you by Leaders Edge Network. My name is Deanna Faye Brown, and I'm the team leader for the Connection Realtors Mega Icon team and a member of Leaders Edge Network. For the next hour, we're going to review the 6 basic training sessions that we've brought to you on kvCore. Remember that when we set up these training sessions, they were designed to move at a slow pace, setting manageable expectations and homework exercises for you so that you wouldn't be overwhelmed or discouraged by this incredible platform. There are so many facets to it, and our goal was to give you a basic foundation and get you started with the most important aspects of its functionality. So what are those 6 sessions that we're going to review today? We're going to take you all the way from how to activate your kvCore account and set up your profile through to personalizing your website and your database, using Core Present for your CMAs. You'll never use another product again. And then we're going to spend some time reviewing our content on creating your own custom marketing campaigns and leveraging landing pages and squeeze pages for lead generation. So let's take a look at each of these sessions, the highlights of each of them, and where you can go to find that content to get started and going with your kvCore account. kvCore, and really talk about all of the things that we've done in the last 6 weeks to learn about kvCore. The idea here has always been that we wanted to learn at a basic level, not trying to make everyone an expert coming out of 6 sessions of training, but to really understand all the functionality and all of the different components of this tech platform that you're going to get to power up your business for only $85 a month. Okay. So as we go through this training, I just want to remind you that all of these sessions, there are 6 in total, are now posted and available on the Leaders Edge YouTube channel. Again, that link will be provided to you at the end of our session today. I'll give further instruction, but all 6 breakout sessions are there. So what were those breakout sessions that we covered? First session we talked about was from the very beginning, how to go about activating your kvCore account. So if you haven't done that yet with EXP, you'll want to log into your enterprise account and you'll want to request that your kvCore be activated. Refer to session 1 if you need further instruction within enterprise to make that happen. We also in session 1 covered how to build out your profile. And to do that, we went up to the top right-hand corner and went into our profile here, my profile. When you work through the content and training of session 1, you're really going to want to give special thought to a couple of components of your profile. You're going to want to think about your social media presence, and you're going to want to think about a smart number. Social media in terms of, do you want to ramp up? Do you need to ramp up your social media to be more of a business presence as opposed to a personal or private presence? That's something to consider. Smart number is also something that we talked about, where there is a standard New Jersey smart number, or depending on what state you're in, there's a standard statewide number that will automatically be assigned to you as an EXP agent. That standard number works for all agents in a particular state within EXP on a round robin functionality. If you wanted to avoid leveraging that round robin number and wanted a little bit more control and personalization, if you will, to be able to sort of nurture and protect your lead generation, I strongly encourage you to go about getting a personal smart number. This is where you'll see the smart number that's assigned to you. There's a standard number, again, that would be reflected here, but if you go with your own personal smart number, that standard number would be swapped out. Again, refer back to session 1 if you have any specific questions or want to understand a little bit more about this. But these are sort of the big ticket items that we covered in that first hour, getting you set up, getting your profile going. Then we moved on to session 2, where we spent all of our time in the website manager here. kvCore includes your public-facing EXP website. I'll give you a view of mine quickly. You have the ability to take the shell that kvCore offers to you and customize it to reflect you, to reflect your biography, client testimonials, vendor testimonials. You can use background images, um, other graphics. You can change the way that the tiles are laid out, the verbiage in different areas. You can really customize a client or visitor's experience to your website in a way that really gives the client or the visitor the opportunity to learn about you, learn about your background, hopefully spend some time on your website and start to build a little bit of trust, understand your background. They will also have the ability to search. In session 2, we talked about leveraging a number of places on the website where you can highlight a lender relationship. Make sure that as you identify a vendor that you want to work with, that it's someone that you know and trust and have worked with for some time, because they will have the ability to access your leads from a mortgage lending standpoint. And they're essentially, because they're being advertised on your website as a vendor relationship, will be treated as an extension of you. Over the course of these sessions, I did introduce participants to Drew Whipple, who I have known for 15 years, probably even closer to 20 at this point, who is a mortgage lender. He has both expertise in residential and commercial. He is now accessible in the kvCore system for eXp Realty as a lender that you can include and partner with to give that finance and lending functionality on your website life. Don't have to work with him, but understand that you have to make a decision on your website about whether you want to leverage lender relationships or not. If you don't, then it will turn off certain functionality on your website. Head back to the session 2 video for more detail on this. A couple of the other things that we covered in session 2, we talked about how to create custom pages. So if you look at my website, Discover Burlington County is a link to custom pages that I've started to build out on my website. I've mentioned in the past that I try to just brand myself to Burlington County. So what I'm looking to do when someone visits my site is give them access and branch out resources across the county. So that's where I've used my custom pages. Also talked about blogging in session 2, about the importance of wherever you can, leverage kvCore and the tools contained in kvCore to really work for you. And blogging is just one of those examples of all it takes is your time. It doesn't cost you anything, it's free, but it's another way to continue to update and put your website forward. You can then take your blog posts and share them on social media. So again, refer back to session 2 for all of that website content. From there, we went into session 3 about how to build your database. And that's where we really spent time on Smart CRM. I'll just remind here, if you haven't done this yet and gone and created your template and uploaded it into your kvCore account, I'll just remind you that you can go down to support and training. And from this module here within kvCore, you can identify and download the template that will then, just going to move everybody's face here, that will then allow you to populate all of your contact information. If you go to support docs, this is where you can go to set up that template to download it. You can also see additional videos about how to build out that template. I really encourage you, when you're setting up your database with kvCore, that you start here with a template. Reason being is that kvCore has produced this spreadsheet or template so that it works very well and seamlessly with the import process in kvCore. If you try to invent the wheel yourself, you're going to end up finding that you have to do a lot of manual adjustment when you get to the point where you want to upload. So start here, leverage what kvCore has provided to you. If you want to learn more about how to build that template, where to find that template, and how to import it, simply go to session 3 to learn more. The other thing that I'll mention that we talk about in session 3 is the value of hashtags. Hashtags are something that you're going to see a lot of in kvCore, not just from a client database perspective, but also as you start to build out campaigns, landing pages, and squeeze pages. Hashtags take on greater and greater importance. Hashtags are the opportunity for you to really think outside the box and add a level of creativity and uniqueness to how you classify those in your database. So don't just think about all of those clients as sphere or clients or buyers or sellers or renters or landlords. Okay, those are all sort of very narrowly focused on your real estate relationship, but start to think more broadly of everyone in your contact list. Are you part of a networking group like a Chamber of Commerce or a Rotary, and you have contacts in your list there? Are you part of a special club? Maybe there's a group of gym buddies or walkers or cyclists that meet on the weekend and travel around the state. Perhaps you are, and I've mentioned this as well, military or veteran background, and you have an extensive group of military or veterans in your database. You can use hashtags to add another level of identification to those clients, to those potential clients, and so that you can reach them in unique and special ways. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in session 3. And then we expand on that when we get into some of the later sessions. So just put that in the back of your mind, because as you begin to see, especially how to build campaigns to touch your clients and those in your database, that hashtag component will become more and more important. The next session, we kind of stepped into something very unique, relatively new to kvCore, and that is Core Present. Core Present is a product that is included in your kvCore account, but it's not even a year old. I think at this point it's maybe only 9 months old. It's going to be found in the marketing component of your kvCore account, and it's going to be right here, Core Present. Before I go there, a number of people have asked the question, which is why I want to take a moment here today in our summary to point a couple of things out. The traditional kvCore account for years has had a product called Cma Builder. So if I just go into marketing and all marketing, I can scroll through the tiles and find the Cma Builder. Now I want to show you the difference because I think seeing the side by side will really help drive home just what Core Present can do. I've identified a property that I'm going to use today. So I have 261 Stratford Place. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going into the standard Cma Builder. I'm identifying who I'm preparing the report for. And once I start to type out the address, kvCore is linked to Google Maps, and it'll help me find the full address that I'm trying to build my report for. And then I can just click Build CMA. This process takes just a few seconds, so it was very simple. All I needed to do is enter my property address. Once the report is ready for download, it'll let me know it's going to update here. And again, it's important that you see the side-by-side comparison once I show you what Core Present can do for your CMAs. Okay, so now I have the notification that our CMA is ready. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. So this is going to be a pretty standard PDF. kvCore has done the heavy lifting, right? All I've done is gone in and entered the email address, or excuse me, the property address. It's going to give me a summary of the property that we are comparing. And if I scroll down, it'll give me a map, it'll give me some graphs, and it'll give me some comparative properties, okay? Give me a little bit of information about those properties, but I don't have any other functionality other than to download and then share this PDF document. Let's take that same property, let's head back to kvCore, and this time let's go right into Core Present. Core Present is going to give a whole new level of functionality to your CMAs. And not only can you build a CMA in Core Present, but then you can take that CMA and embed it into an entire listing presentation. This is all covered in session 4, but what I just want to make sure that we drive home today is the difference between this and that standard builder. This is not something that we did in that session 4 training, and a lot of people were confusing the standard builder as what we talked about in session 4, and that's simply not the case. So here I'm in Core Present. I'm going to go ahead and click on Win the Listing, just so that I can enter the same property address. So it's 621 Stratford Place. Would help if I typed it right? It's going to work the same way here, where Google Maps will try and find the address the more that I type. I'll click Next. It'll ask for just some confirming information, single bedroom, square footage, number of beds. And next I can move on to comp details. Now take a look here. In our previous builder with kvCore, the only thing that I could do was enter the property address. It would produce a standard report and I would end there. Now with Core Present, I have the ability to customize this CMA for this property. So right now the defaults are showing me this blue circle. This is my target area, which is only 1 mile radius to our subject property, which is in orange. Right now, I have no results to be able to compare, whether it's coming soon, active listings, pendings, or sold. But I have the ability to go ahead and expand the criteria right here before I even generate the CMA to be able to give comparable data to the client. So let's say I expand my 1 mile radius to 5 miles. Let's say I might even take it a step further and go 10 miles. As I expand that radius, you'll see that I start to get other pinpoints in the map, both within the circle and outside of the circle. The colors of the pins are going to match up to this key below. So if you see a green pin, that's an active listing. If you see a red, it's a sold, and so on. You'll notice that there are also gray pins in this circle. Gray pins are properties that have had activity, whether it's an active listing, a sold listing, but they may not exactly match up to the criteria of your subject property. You have the ability to click on that gray pinpoint, take a look at some of the details of that listing. You can click on more info to see a more comprehensive explanation of that listing. And then you can decide if you want to add it in for evaluation in your CMA. So if I took this property here for 7 Cleveland, which is currently gray, I can choose to add it to my comps, and then it turns it red and matches it up to a sold match because I've now pulled it into my CMA. You also have the ability not only to change the radius, but you have the ability on the left-hand side to further expand or shrink your criteria for a number of other features for this property. So maybe you want to include 2 bath and 3 bath, or maybe you want to include 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom, all for example. You can make all of those changes here. Take a look at your results, see how they refresh here, and then you can proceed to building out your CMA once you're satisfied with the results, okay? But the idea is unlike the other example where you're just left with a PDF and the results are what they are, you drive the train. You drive the CMA. Once you're satisfied with how your criteria is set up, you go on to this next step to build the CMA. This is going to give you the creator's view, but it's going to be very similar to what your client will experience on the receiving end of this CMA. So they're going to get some very clean looking tiles up at the top that explain how the CMA works. And then they'll be able to scroll down and view the data in a number of different ways. They're going to see a timeline. And from that timeline and price line, they're going to be able to actually click on properties and see the details of that property. They'll be able to scroll through the photos from the MLS on that property. So let's say they receive this CMA and maybe they're a little bit nosy. They know that their neighbor has a house up for sale. And so they might click on that and get the detail right here from this timeline. They can also scroll down and find some additional information about the current market: average sales price, sales pace, how fast things are selling. And they can click on any of these tiles to get more information. You can also, as the creator of this CMA, you can add data onto this price line timeline. If you want to add the Zillow estimate, the Zestimate, for example, if you have an appraisal and you want to add the appraisal value into the CMA, if you have nosy in-laws that seem to have very strong opinions on how a property should be priced, you can add that information here. You can add that level of customization, and maybe by doing so, you can demonstrate that, hey, your nosy mother-in-law, I appreciate the information, but look how separate she is from the rest of the data in your market. Look how maybe it can very gently but very effectively demonstrate where somebody might be in unrealistic expectations compared to the market. So this is a great graphic. Where this really gets more muscle is that once you're content with this content, you can either save the CMA, which from Core Present, you can then email to your client. You can pull up, if you are presenting on a tablet or a laptop, for example, you can pull the CMA up and work through it with your client. Or you can take it one step further and embed it into a listing presentation, a full and comprehensive listing presentation. These two components we go into tremendous detail in session 4's training. The important thing for you to understand is that this product is very different from this product. This product not only elevates your client's experience and really drives home, when you are sitting with a client, with a potential seller, trying to explain the value of a virtual brokerage, of a technology-based brokerage, it's platforms like this, it's functionality like this that give that concept credibility. It makes you look like a rock star. And then probably the best part of it all is that you will get notification from kvCore in your email to let you know when a client opens the CMA, and then you'll be able to go in and review analytics to see where they spent their time, where they clicked. You can even go so far as to see what properties they clicked on in this timeline and how much time they spent reviewing those properties and reviewing the CMA. So tremendously valuable to you, to your credibility, but also on the back end to being able to get into the mind of your potential, buyer if you're looking in a purchase situation, to help buyers identify, good pricing strategies. Same thing though with the seller, really being able to get into the minds of the client to understand, sometimes what the conversation is not necessarily what their curiosity is. So it's really going to give you some tremendous insight. If you want to learn more, I encourage you to go back to session 4 of that kvCore training in the Leaders Edge YouTube channel. From there, once we spent time with the Core Present CMA tool, the next 2 sessions, 5 and 6, we spent really on expanding our understanding of marketing campaigns here in the marketing function. And then also we talked about the lead engine tools available here with landing pages and squeeze pages. So the first several sessions were really about building yourself out and setting your account up for success. Now, moving into sessions 4 with the CMA and then 5 and 6, we're talking about now leveraging the functionality to start to automate the process of being able to touch or reach your clients in unique and special ways, and then how to go about building out your client database to continue to generate new leads, new opportunities, where you hope to at some point convert those leads or opportunities into clients and into referral sources. So if you're ready and you're at the point where you want to understand more of what's available to you from this perspective, you want to go to sessions 5 and 6. 5 specifically is going to talk about the marketing component. It's going to talk about being able to leverage some smart campaigns, talk about how to use the mass email scheduler here. And we also spent time in session 5 talking about how to create a custom newsletter completely from scratch. And that is really cool. And I'll tell you, if you go through the exercise and you end up with a newsletter, you'll be very proud. The other thing in session 6 that we talked about here in Lead Engine, we really spent time talking about landing pages, and then as an extension of a landing page, squeeze pages. Landing pages, just like when we talked about hashtags, about being creative, thinking outside the box, not just thinking in terms of real estate, you can use landing pages in much the same way. If you refer back to session 6, I'll actually give you 2 examples of how to create a landing page. One that was more real estate related, trying to pull in leads with open house campaigns. And then I went and created something completely separate where in my example, I was sponsoring a local sports team, and I leveraged a landing page to be able to provide free ice cream cones to anybody that clicked on the landing page and submitted their information, got them a coupon for a free ice cream cone, but also got them imported as a contact into my kvCore account. So you'll see how that can work. And it, again, is going to push your thinking a little bit to add some creativity to how you can build opportunities to pull in new clients. Okay. So that is what we covered in those 6 sessions to get you started with kvCore. The other thing that I just want to mention as you take this information, as you might go back and view some of these prior videos, as I just want to talk about some of the other things that you can do from this point forward. Let's say you've learned about the landing page, learned about the squeeze page, and you're leveraging those things. Maybe you're blogging on a regular basis, but now you have to step up your decision making and start to think about what you want to budget. Or do you want to budget? Do you want to put marketing dollars to continue to build out your advertising? You can take your kvCore and use a number of resources, both within kvCore itself and external to kvCore to do that. So just to give you some examples, some of the things that you can be doing for free. Certainly go into marketing, build campaigns, whether it's a birthday campaign to reach out to the birthdays every month in your client database. Perhaps it's leveraging the newsletter. Again, doesn't cost you anything, all included in your kvCore. Maybe you build out a campaign to remind everyone in your database once a month, once every 60 days, maybe even once a quarter, that you're available and accessible to provide support for all of their real estate needs. Those are all things that are free. Now, what can you do if you want to ramp it up a little bit and start spending money to find and identify pulling clients, potential clients? You can certainly go to Facebook. We talked a little bit about that in session 5. If you want to go to Facebook, you're going to want to have a business account and a Facebook business page. But to do that, you can simply go down on the, once you're in your page, you can simply scroll down on the left-hand side to Ad Center. This is where you can tie landing pages into your Facebook advertising, set your budget on the Facebook side, and then any traffic that you drive to your landing page will then automatically pull into your kvCore account. This is something that I encourage you to experiment with a little bit. The great thing about it is you can set the budget at any level. So I started with something very basic, less than $1 a day. And as you start to see results or start to see that it's gaining some traction or that at least you're getting views and clicks, then that could be encouraging to you to increase your spend and really devote the resources, your financial resources, to generating traffic through Facebook advertising. Another thing that you can do is Google advertising, and that you can do in a couple of different ways. kvCore offers some Google advertising support. You can find more information about that from the marketplace. Within Marketplace, you'll just scroll down to this Managed Google Pay per Click Ads here. The other thing that you can do is you can leverage EXP's program called Making It Rain. Making It Rain is going to be a similar platform where it's going to give you a budget and a build out for Google advertising. You can access that in a couple of different ways. I know that you can access it through your EXP Enterprise, but I think there is a way that you can also access it through kvCore. Let me just take a look here. If you go into Lead Engine, go into Get More Leads. Okay, and so here we have this option here, Get More Leads. Once we click on that, you'll see again the same tile that I showed you in Marketplace, where you can go through kvCore to do a Google Pay per Click platform, or you can find Making It Rain here. This again is another Google advertising platform. I know people that are using Making It Rain and are finding it works well for them. So that's something that you might, again, if you have a certain budget in mind and have limited financial resources, these are some of the areas that you might want to consider leveraging to continue to find and cultivate new leads. The other thing that you can do, if you have a presence on Zillow, if you are a Zillow Premier agent, you can connect your kvCore to your Zillow Premier account. The way that you would do that, you can certainly find videos on the Zillow side, but what I just want to make sure that I show you on the kvCore side, if you go into your Lead Engine module, if you go up to the very top right corner where it says Lead Dropbox, you can just click on that and you will find a Zillow key here. This key is what you will copy, then head over to your Zillow Premier account and paste, so that anytime you receive a new lead and it's assigned to you in your Zillow, that lead will feed into your kvCore account. Okay, so these are just some of the things that you're going to want to consider. Again, now that you have kvCore in place, there are certain things that you can do at no cost, but then there are certain things that you can do that do come with a price tag that can continue to build, ramp up, and extend your presence to build out your client list. The goal here is to be able to attract clients, potential clients, convert them from leads to actual clients that ultimately build out your referral opportunities as well. So that's in 30 minutes or less a review of everything that we covered in kvCore. One more time, I'll just remind you that all of those 6 videos are available on our YouTube channel, and that link will be available to you. I'll go over that at the end of our hour together. The other things that I wanted to talk about as we go through the rest of our time together is just cover the other EXP programs that we talked about in the last 6 weeks. So let's go through those. There are 4 that I want to concentrate on. The first one is Agent Healthcare. Agent Healthcare is a unique program that only, I think, 1 or 2 other brokerages currently offer, and not necessarily to the level that EXP offers Agent Healthcare. EXP partners with a company called Clearwater. You can see that I'm on Workplace right now. EXP has a great relationship with Clearwater Benefits, and their champion, if you will, is a woman by the name of Margot Wickersham. Margot is a great resource, not only because she's knowledgeable about the programs, but because she herself has experienced and shared her story about her need for benefits through the Clearwater programs. She's a great story of triumph and success, and about how this platform can really change your life. If you don't have health care, or if you are paying exorbitant premiums or not getting the benefits that you feel you should be for the premium that you're paying, I urge you to look at this platform. Open enrollment was supposed to go, I believe, only until the middle of December. but the deadline has now been extended to January 31st. So there is still time for you to pursue and potentially secure benefits effective for 2022 under this program. So if you want to learn more, go to Workplace. You're going to want to search the group for EXP Agent Healthcare. So up here in your search function, and it'll take you to the EXP Agent Healthcare group. Once you get added to the group, you'll see there's a ton of content there. You'll be able to go back and sign up for a webinar, and it'll give you more information about how to schedule a consultation if you want to speak with someone one-on-one about what programs might be beneficial to you. Okay? So that's agent healthcare. That's a way to save money in your pocket. The other programs that I want to talk about that we covered in the last 6 weeks are about how to continue to expand your financial opportunities, how to continue to build wealth. The next one that we want to talk about is Exp Commercial. Exp Residential is more than a decade old at this point. Commercial is a little bit younger, but it is growing at an extremely fast pace. When I provide that resource in our Facebook channels at the end of our session today, it'll include links to a website that will give you guidance on all things commercial, anything that you can imagine needing to know about the commercial space. And it will also give you a slide deck where you, again, can learn more. And you could potentially, if you're looking to attract a commercial agent, can share this information to give them a little bit more insight into the Exp Commercial space. Understand that if you are a residential agent that is looking to sell commercial real estate, so just commercial property, you are fine to do that in the residential space. But if you want to add business brokerage opportunities into your portfolio, that puts you into the commercial space. You cannot be a commercial agent and a residential agent at the same time. It's one or the other. So if you are considering a commercial presence, this is a good place to go to start to get some questions answered. And also, I encourage you, head back to Workplace and find the Exp Commercial group. Again, request to get added to the group, but another tremendous resource where you can get information about all things commercial. Even if you have no interest yourself in operating in the commercial space, I highly encourage you to find that group on Facebook Workplace, and become a part of it. Commercial is a huge referral resource to Exp residential agents. I believe at last count, there was something like $8 billion in referrals that went back and forth between commercial agents and residential agents within Exp. So again, make yourself available and accessible to commercial agents in whatever space you're working in, whether it's New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or another state, so that you can be available to receive referrals, but also so that you have a quick commercial resource in your tool belt to be able to refer a commercial client who needs the expertise of a commercial agent. So you'll have access to these two links at the end of our presentation. That's Exp Commercial. The other platform that I want to mention, which we did talk about quite a bit, is Express Offers. Express Offers takes Exp into the institutional buying space, the iBuying space. What most of you are probably familiar with is Zillow in this space. There are a couple of other larger players, but Zillow has received the most press, particularly in the last several months, because they're pulling out of the iBuying space. Their experiment has been somewhat of a failure, if you will. Part of the reason that it was a failure, in my opinion, and in the opinion of those who have written numerous articles on the subject, Zillow put themselves in a position to not only enter the institutional buying space, but they also put themselves in a position to buy the properties. Exp's answer to institutional buying is to continue to give you, as the real estate agent, the leverage in a transaction to be able to facilitate a sale for a seller without putting financial obligation onto EXP as the buyer. Express Offers is a platform that is specifically designed to give you a unique portal where you can look at investors in a particular market. You can see what those investors' wish lists are, if you will, and then you can consider if any of those investor wish lists match up to your seller's needs and wants. It's only one tool in what should be a vast tool belt for you as an EXP agent. But the idea with Express Offers is that you can show interest in this program. You can sign up to become certified in this program, all for free, all on your own time. And then once you are certified, it just becomes one of many tools that you can share with sellers in an effort to secure a listing. Express Offers is not going to be for everyone. You're talking about investors and you're talking about unique property situations where sellers might have to be willing to secure price in order to be able to get a fast sale or a cash sale or a no hassle sale, if you will. There could be benefits, but maybe ultimately it's something that you can review with the sellers and determine it's not appropriate for them. But the idea, again, is knowing that you have expertise in multiple paths for your seller, and being able to talk through those paths and demonstrate your credibility and your uniqueness compared to other potential listing agents in the real estate space. Okay, so there are two things that you'll receive as part of our list of links, if you will. You're going to receive some information about the background of Express Offers. And then there's also going to be a link about how you get certified. Again, the certification is absolutely free. It's going to be done on your time through MindFlash. You work through the modules at your own pace. There are, simple, straightforward tests as you work through those modules in order to be able to progress. But then once you reach the conclusion and you get certified, you'll receive additional access to a number of marketing resources to be able to advertise yourself as Express Offers certified. And again, you'll just be able to continue to leverage this program as having something in your tool belt. And keep in mind too, as we talk about how can you give yourself greater opportunity for wealth generation, for income, not only are you looking at trying to ultimately secure a listing, but working with Express Offers gives you the ability to offer your investor buyers a new and unique platform to find properties. It can also give you the opportunity to receive a fee anytime any of those investor buyers actually settles on a transaction. And then you have the opportunity with certain investor buyers to secure a relist so that if an investor puts their wish list out and specifically identifies that they're looking for properties to renovate and then relist, you might be able to secure that relist at a discounted fee, but again, secured to you. So there's opportunity there on multiple levels for you, the agent, to be empowered and to leverage this program. So that's Express Offers. Again, you'll have those links available to you at the end. The last thing that I want to just go over is something that we talked about in one of our sessions, and I'm going to leave this with you today because here we are at the beginning of 2022, and time is not lost. If you didn't do this before ringing in the new year, it's not too late. It's really important that you create a business plan. The business plan is not only going to help give you direction and focus and guidance as you map out your year, but it's going to give you accountability as you work through the year to be able to match up what your experience, what your production, what your results are compared to what you hoped they would be. Okay, so it's aligning your expectations with reality. There are a number of things that you can do with your planning, with your business planning. One of the things that we talked about in one of our weekly sessions at the end of 2021 was building out a financial worksheet. Really understand what your financial picture is And that's all inclusive, not just knowing how much the cell phone and the mortgage are going to cost you every month, but also understand how much you want to commit to your business budget as well. So this link will be available to you. Don't avoid it if you don't like it. That's not going to help give you the answers. We talked about that in our session. It's important that you understand where you are, because you can't talk about where you want to go until you understand your starting point. Okay. The other thing that we talked about was I had a particular model that I liked for business planning. So once you understand your financial picture, here's a model that I encourage you to consider if you don't already have a favorite or you don't already have a way of putting your business plan on paper. The reason that I like this method is because it's easy. It's not cumbersome. It's not burdensome. And you can sit down, spend a little time on a quiet Sunday afternoon, for example, and you can have a business plan in place. Okay. It's not a dissertation, but it's something on paper. It's your framework for the year. It's called the 1-3-5 method. Sometimes it's referred to as GPS, goals, priorities, and strategies. This is how it works. You're going to start by identifying your one big goal. Then from that one big goal, you'll identify 3 key focus areas, and then you'll break out those 3 key focus areas into 5 very specific objectives. So let me just remind you the example that I gave when we talked about this originally. Let's say that I want to look at my big goal as increasing my GCI by 20%. I'm going to focus on 3 areas to do that. I want to work on my lead generation. I want to work on my personal development, and I want to work on brand awareness. With each of these 3 focus areas, I'm going to then break out 5 objectives. Objectives should now turn this goal into action. So if I just look at brand awareness, I want to now take it to these 5 action items. I'm going to volunteer in my community. I'm going to create a postcard campaign. And notice how right in my business plan, I'm talking about financial budgeting, which should then tie back to my financial budget when I'm looking at my comprehensive dollars and cents, budget on a monthly basis. The two should work hand in hand. I'm going to join a networking group, spend time. So now not only have I talked about dollar commitments, but I'm talking about time commitments to concentrate on some of these focus areas. So again, these are very specific action items. And then another dollar value commitment, sponsoring a local sports team. Okay. So this is, again, something that's designed to be simple, not overwhelming. You don't need to download a template and work through, dozens of questions or write it, like I said, write a dissertation. This is something that you can take out a blank piece of paper, put your big goal at the top, identify your 1, 2, 3 focus areas, and then build out some action items. Give yourself at least 4, ideally 5 action items for each of those focus areas. Okay. The other thing with business planning, as with anything in life, don't go for the easy. Don't go for just the low-hanging fruit. You can certainly, if you want to take 1 or 2 of these action items as sort of the quick hits, the easy, get it done and cross it off the list. But the idea with business planning is that you create a goal that's not guaranteed. Okay, if it's guaranteed or it's easily attained, then you haven't stretched yourself enough. So just like with everything else with kvCore, I say think outside the box. Give yourself motivation, but then also, give yourself the challenge because you deserve that from yourself. Okay? So that in a nutshell is everything that we covered in the last 6 or 7 weeks in our weekly training sessions on Wednesdays. We're going to continue these sessions through 2022 every Wednesday morning. I encourage, as you work through this content and you reflect on what we've done in the last several weeks, reach out to me if there is any content that you want to learn about. If there's a program that you've heard rumblings about with Exp, if you've seen someone reference a plan or a program on Workplace, if you just need more information and want someone else to do the research for you and give you a vehicle where you can learn about that and then find out how to proceed with next steps from there. I encourage you to reach out to me. You can connect with me through email, through cell or text, and let me know what you want to learn about. And we'll do some of the background work and deliver that content and those programs to you. The other thing that I just want to remind you is that we have 3 Facebook groups. There were 2, and now there's a third. The third is going to be a new launch that's happening this month. And I just want to show you that real quick. If you go to your Facebook and so we have 2 groups. There's Inside Connection. Inside Connection is primarily our South Jersey group for the Connection Realtors team. Then we've had Leaders Edge at Exp Realty, which you may also be a member of. Okay, this is Leaders Edge. And now our third group, which is being launched this month, is Join Leaders Edge, no spaces. It'll look like this, Leaders Edge. And like I said, this is very new. So in addition to our weekly content that's going to be coming to you every Wednesday, really designed to help you as an EXP agent understand EXP platforms, give you training on EXP technologies, and also help to guide some of the conversation around attraction, if you have an interest in that, retention and personal development. This component here for Leaders Edge is also going to be a great resource if you are looking to bring someone into EXP from another brokerage that wants to start to experience some of the great collaboration that happens in this model. This is also going to be a great resource if you are ready to take your business to full speed. You're going to want to join not the Wednesday conversations where it's more sort of training. You're going to want to join these Tuesday sessions where it's going to be a lot more about production and coaching. Okay, so those are the ways that you'll be able to reach us. Once I have a list of all of these links compiled today, you're going to be able to find that one link to get you to all the links on all 3 of these Facebook pages. Okay, Inside Connection, Leaders Edge, and Join Leaders Edge. So I want to thank everybody who has taken the time to view the videos, for spending not only the time, but the energy to learn about kvCore and these other platforms. Again, I encourage you, get engaged. This is $85 a month of incredible content. There's tremendous muscle here. Make it work for you and kick off your 2022 with a bang. Thank you so much. I wish you good health and happiness in the new year. And remember to keep in touch if there's something you want to learn about. Thank you so much. Have a great day.